In the heart of Cameroon, a land of vibrant landscapes and ancient traditions, lies Lake Nyos. Serene and beautiful, it held a deadly secret. On August 21st, 1986, this seemingly tranquil lake unleashed a silent, invisible killer upon the unsuspecting villages nestled in its shadow. The day began like any other. Farmers tended their fields, children played under the clear sky. But as dusk approached, a terrifying transformation was about to occur. Deep beneath the surface of the lake, a massive amount of carbon dioxide had been building up for years, unseen and undetected. This ticking time bomb, triggered by an unknown event, was about to explode. With a silent roar, Lake Nyos erupted, spewing forth a dense cloud of carbon dioxide. This deadly gas, heavier than air, rolled down the slopes, engulfing everything in its path. The invisible cloud, a chilling harbinger of death, descended upon the villages with terrifying speed. Those caught in its path had little time to react. The gas, odorless and colorless, offered no warning. People collapsed where they stood, overcome by the suffocating blanket of carbon dioxide. Livestock perished in their pens. The air, normally filled with the sounds of life, fell eerily silent. One survivor, Joseph Nkwane from Subum, recounted waking up to find his daughter dead. He had no idea what had happened. He had only experienced a brief feeling of weakness before passing out. As the cloud dissipated, a scene of unimaginable horror was revealed. Over 1,700 people and thousands of animals lay dead, suffocated by the deadly gas. The once vibrant villages were transformed into ghost towns. The disaster at Lake Nyos was a chilling example of a limnic eruption, a rare but devastating natural phenomenon. These eruptions occur when dissolved gases, primarily carbon dioxide, rapidly escape from the bottom of a lake, forming a deadly cloud. In the case of Lake Nyos, volcanic activity beneath the lake bed released carbon dioxide into the water. The lake, stratified and with minimal mixing, allowed the gas to accumulate to dangerous levels over time. Scientists believe a trigger, such as a landslide, earthquake, or even a change in water temperature, disturbed the lake's delicate balance, causing the carbon dioxide to erupt. The result was a catastrophic release of gas, a silent killer that left a trail of devastation in its wake. The survivors of the Lake Nyos disaster carry with them harrowing memories of that fateful night. Their stories paint a vivid picture of the terror and chaos that ensued. One survivor described feeling a sudden wave of fatigue, as if all his energy had been drained. He collapsed to the ground, unable to move or cry out. When he regained consciousness hours later, he was surrounded by the bodies of his loved ones. Another survivor, a young woman, spoke of waking up in the hospital, disoriented and confused. She had no memory of the eruption, only a sense of profound loss and the horrifying realization that her entire family was gone. The psychological scars of the disaster ran deep, as survivors grappled with the trauma of losing loved ones and the fear that it could happen again. Many experienced nightmares, anxiety, and a deep sense of guilt for surviving when so many others had perished. Section 5. A race against time rescue efforts. The aftermath of the Lake Nyos disaster was a scene of utter devastation and chaos. The scale of the tragedy overwhelmed local authorities, and the remote location of the lake made communication and access difficult. Rescue efforts were hampered by the invisible threat of carbon dioxide, which lingered in the air, posing a deadly risk to anyone who ventured into the area. It took over 36 hours for help to arrive, precious time lost as survivors struggled to breathe and the injured lay dying. When rescuers finally arrived, they were met with a scene of unimaginable horror. Bodies lay scattered across the villages, their faces frozen in silent screams. The stench of death hung heavy in the air. The Cameroonian military, equipped with protective gear and oxygen tanks, worked tirelessly to evacuate survivors and recover the dead. Mass graves were dug to accommodate the overwhelming number of victims, a grim testament to the scale of the tragedy. Section 6. Scars that time cannot heal. In the wake of the Lake Nyos disaster, the survivors faced a long and arduous road to recovery. The physical and emotional scars of that night ran deep, leaving an indelible mark on the community. Many survivors suffered long-term health problems as a result of carbon dioxide exposure, including respiratory issues, neurological damage, and psychological trauma. The loss of loved ones, homes, and livelihoods compounded their suffering. Adding to their burden was the feeling of abandonment by the government. Promised compensation and support for rebuilding their lives often failed to materialize, leaving survivors feeling forgotten and betrayed. Years after the disaster, many survivors still struggled to come to terms with their loss and rebuild their lives. The trauma of that night continued to haunt their dreams, a constant reminder of the devastating power of nature. Section 7. Preventing another Nyos. The Lake Nyos disaster served as a wake-up call to the world, highlighting the hidden dangers posed by limnic eruptions. In the aftermath of the tragedy, scientists and engineers from around the globe came together to find ways to prevent a similar catastrophe from happening again. Their efforts led to the development of degassing systems designed to safely remove the accumulated carbon dioxide from the lake. These systems, consisting of long pipes inserted into the lake bed, allow the gas to escape gradually into the atmosphere, preventing a dangerous buildup. The first degassing pipe was installed in Lake Nyos in 2001, followed by additional pipes in 2011. These systems have proven effective in reducing the carbon dioxide levels in the lake, significantly reducing the risk of another eruption. However, the threat is not entirely eliminated. Ongoing monitoring and maintenance of the degassing systems are crucial, and the potential for other triggers, such as landslides or earthquakes, remains a concern. Section 8. Lakes of Silent Menace. Lake Nyos is not alone in its potential for deadly limnic eruptions. Several other lakes around the world, often located in volcanically active regions, pose similar risks. Lake Monoun, also in Cameroon and located just 100 kilometers from Lake Nyos, erupted in 1984, killing 37 people. This earlier disaster, though smaller in scale, foreshadowed the devastation that was to come at Lake Nyos. Lake Kivu, on the border of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, represents an even greater threat. This massive lake contains vastly larger amounts of dissolved carbon dioxide and methane than Lake Nyos. An eruption at Lake Kivu would have catastrophic consequences, potentially impacting millions of people. Other lakes, including Lake Albano in Italy and the Valley of Geysers in Russia, have also been identified as potential limnic eruption hazards. While the likelihood of an eruption at any given lake is relatively low, the potential consequences of such an event are too great to ignore. Section 9. Lessons learned, challenges remain. The Lake Nyos disaster stands as a stark reminder of the awesome power of nature and the importance of understanding and respecting the forces that shape our world. The tragedy also highlights the need for preparedness, early warning systems, and effective disaster response. In the years since the eruption, significant strides have been made in mitigating the risks posed by limnic eruptions. Degassing systems have been installed in several dangerous lakes, and research into these phenomena has advanced significantly. However, challenges remain. The remote location of many of these lakes makes monitoring and response efforts difficult. Public awareness of limnic eruptions and their potential dangers remains low. As we move forward, it is crucial that we continue to invest in research, monitoring, and mitigation efforts. We must also work to educate communities living near these lakes about the risks they face and how to respond in the event of an eruption. The lessons learned from Lake Nyos must not be forgotten. Only through vigilance, preparedness, and a deep respect for the power of nature can we hope to prevent such tragedies from happening again. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories and updates.